Hi there, it's Tracy here from the Papercraft Studio. Thank you for joining me today. So I'm going to show you how to make this bridge fold card. And I've used the dies and stamped from the Joyful Flurry set in the mini catalogue. Let me just show you here. I actually got the page for the papers and didn't mark this one up. So let me just find it here for you because it is super pretty. So Joyful Flurry bundle here. So you get the stamps and also the dies. So some of them just cut into paper but don't actually cut out. But you can pull up these little snowflake pieces, and some do cut out. So it's really pretty. I don't know if you can see in this one here. Ooh, trying to hold it. How the pieces just pull up and they've just put a different colour underneath. So they're really, really beautiful. And then just while I have this, I'm using the Storybook Gnomes Designer Series paper here. So you have some little kind of gnome images on one side and then these really pretty background snowflakes, trees, so really useful. And you could use either for this project. Some of my class ladies chose a gnome size. This folds flat like this to go in an envelope. It can go either way. Mine's bowing in the middle of it because it's been used at classes. But you will need a square envelope that measures at least 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. As it won't fit one of our standard ones, obviously. So here are the supplies you need to make this. If I show it this way up, that's how it looks from the top. Okay, so you need a piece of Balmy Blue cardstock, and this measures 8 inches by 5.5 inches. You need another piece of Balmy Blue. This is for the bridge, and that measures 5.5 inches by 1.25 inches. You need 2 pieces of basic white cardstock, and they measure the same, which is 5.25 inches by 2 3/4 inches. The Designer Series paper, here we go, here with the little gnomes on. This measures 5.25 inches by 1 inch, and you also need 2 more pieces of basic white cardstock, which I can't see mine right here, for the inside pieces here, and they measure the same as the Designer Series paper, so they also measure 5.25 inches by 1 inch. Okay, you need a scrap of basic white to stamp this on, and this is one of the dies in the set, so it's a really really sweet set that gives you lots of options. Okay, so let's put these supplies to one side. We're just going to keep the base for now, and I'll show you how to score it. Okay, so with the long side across the top, you're going to score this at 1.25 inches, at 2.5, 5.5, and 6 3/4. Okay, so that's all the scoring done. And then what you want to do on the first fold, you're going to fold it inwards towards the center of the card, give it a little burnish with the bone folder, and then with this now folded over, you're going to fold this one back on itself. Okay, so that creates that little fold there to put the bridge on. So again, the one closest to the center, you're going to fold inwards on this side, and then you're going to fold it back on itself, and that creates your fold there. Okay, so next we're going to emboss these layers here and the bridge using, it's one of my favorite embossing folders, actually it was in last year as well, and we used it quite a lot, Wintry here, Wintry, and it's this one here. I don't think I've ever used this one, but this one I've used a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and emboss one of these layers here because that's going to fit in the center, but also the 2 side panels. So I'm going to cut those out because I've got to have them before, so I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see here, I popped these 2 through at the same time. Let's bring all the pieces back in. Right, so let's start to layer these up. I just love, how pretty is that? So gorgeous. Okay, we are actually going to cover quite a bit of it up, but yeah, still pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to stick these down with liquid glue. So flip over to the other side. Don't get your glue too close to the edge. because obviously you don't want it splurging out. So pop this one in the center panel, and there's a border all the way around. And then these two other white pieces you're going to stick next door. I don't know which was embossed and which was debossed there for a second. Okay, not that it really matters, it looks pretty on both sides actually. We're not going to stick the blue bridge on just yet, so leave that one to one side. And let's get all these pieces in place first. I think it looks really pretty, this embossing folder with the white cardstock as well, because that's it, snowflakes are kind of white, aren't they? Sometimes look a bit bluey. Okay, and then take your designer series paper and you're going to pop this on either end. You can see I've cut these ones slightly different to this one. It's just because I ran out of enough paper to go that way. So on yours you will have your gnomes facing downwards, or at least a section of a gnome probably. So if you want to go with the gnome size, if you've got a kit from me, then go for it. They are super cute. We're actually going to be doing another gnome project in November. Okay, so these ones stick on to there, and they will kind of mirror each other if you get them the same way up. That's why I've cut them. Okay, so now we're going to work on this little back piece here. So what I've used here, I've layered up various things. So I'm so happy they kept these in the catalogue for this year. These are wonderful snowflakes and they are so pretty. They come on a sheet like this. You get so many here, 24 in a pack. They're really inexpensive, and all you do is you gently just click them out of here. So these longer pieces are slightly attached at the edges, so just gently go around and pull each one out. And you can die cut these spare pieces and or punch them with little other punches. You've got snowflake dies, so use all that extra piece as well. So we're going to layer up. This one's going to stick down flat here. We're going to stamp this little snowflake here. I'll just show you all these images on the stamp. So we're using this one here, but you can layer these up. There's dies to cut them. Like I said, there's some little snow here, and we're using It's the Season of Magic and Wonder, but there's just Happy Christmas, Let It Snow, Joyful Wishes. So it's a really good set. And like I said, lots of options on the dies as well. This one doesn't cut out the paper, it just cuts out an image within the paper, but you've got two sizes of these little label tags as well. So it's a really good set to get to do your Christmas cards. Okay, so these are the ones that I'm using here, and the reason I've got them in this little box, this is our old mini wood cases, is because when I take them to class, I want to have the ones to hand that I want. So this is how I take them to my classes. Okay, so I've pre-cut one of these. Okay, so we don't need that. I've also gone ahead and pre-cut one of these smaller ones, which is going to go in the center, and this is using the Glimmer paper that's in the mini catalogue. It's the red and white Glimmer paper. It's one of the previous projects, and you get 4 of each 6x6 sheets in there, so it's a really good paper to have. So like I said, I've gone ahead and cut one of those. We're going to stamp the image, and then we're going to use this one to cut it out. So let me just get the stamp, and we're going to stamp it in Balmy Blue because that's the color in the papers, and it just looks so pretty. I love kind of white and blues, kind of icy Christmas images. Okay, so here we go. Stamp is here. Here we go. Stamp that one down. I can hear one of my girls coming down the stairs, and I did message them to tell them I was filming, so I'm hoping they're not actually going to whiz in, but they may do. While we've got the ink out here, I'm just going to stamp on here with the greeting. may not get it quite in the right place because I don't want to get my head in. Not too bad. Okay, so that's the stamping done. You're going to take some of the white glimmer paper. Oh, sorry, no, we're taking this one. And again, I've just got some washi, old washi here, or you could use Post-its just to pin this in place. You can just put it through without, but I just find it a bit easier to keep it where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. Here we go, pop that out. So pretty. And then I'm just going to show you how I cut this one here, because you can cut them both at the same time. They're two different dies, and I like that you can just pull up this inside snowflake. So I'm just going to get my piece of glimmer here that I've just cut into sections when I was doing my class, but you can see here what I've done. So I'm putting this small snowflake in the center, and then you can cut this separately if you want to, it's fine, but it just you can cut them together and they should kind of stay together. So I'm just going to pin, oops, it's probably easier to move the outside one. That looks about right. So I'm just pinning the two of them together inside each other, so they cut together. So again, I'll be back in a second. Here we go. So pop that to one side. So as you take the, you can push them out through the back actually, and they will probably come out together, but if they don't worry, or if they separate and you've got it in a kit from me, don't worry either, because you can stick them down separately. I'm just going to put them back in the little case over there so I don't lose them. Right, so, and you can see, I mean, I've got, this is just a third of the strip of, those 6x6. You can get 4 out of each. You can get loads of these out of that little set of glimmer paper. Okay, so with the big snowflake, the one we poked out of the set, it's white on one side, iridescent on the other, so I'm going to have the iridescent side showing. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue just in this center piece here. Again, be careful because you don't want too much. Whoops, flip it over again and just position that where you'd like it to be. So I've got it so that these ones, the longer ones, go side to side and they're just pointing at kind of 11 and 1 o'clock up the top there. Okay, then the stamped one, you're going to put a dimensional on the back, a big dimensional. You might want a couple on there. I was running out of dimensionals in my last project, so I'm just snipping the edge. I do have more, but I don't know where they are right this second. So to save holding up the video, I'm just snipping the edge off here. So this one goes in the middle, and I've just kind of lined it up so that it goes kind of 12 to 6 o'clock. And then the little one that I pre-cut out of the white glimmer, this one we're just going to put some glue underneath again and just layer that on top there. You could put a little mini glue dot if you wanted, roll up a mini glue dot, but I'm just going to pop some glue there, and I'm just going to put the little sort of snowflake spikes, I don't know what to call them really, just in the same kind of direction as the one underneath. Super, super cute. I'll tell you about these little sparkles in a minute as well. So now it's time to add the bridge. You need to fold one side in like this as if it was closed and leave one side open, because that will then, the bridge will then meet from one edge to the other. So you're having it right up against this very edge here. Fold that one in and then it sticks across there. Okay, so it doesn't matter which way you go if you have, but you need one in, one out. Okay, so, and stick it right up to this edge. So I'm going to put some tear and tape on the back of mine. You can use glue. Just don't come too far over, because you're only going to stick it to this very edge panel here. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple of strips there right near the edge, and a couple of strips. Am I still in shot? I forget to check sometimes, here as well. Okay, so take the backings off. I might take your pick tool here. Oh, I've got the wrong, oh, I've got that on, haven't I? Let's find my old pick tool. I used that on another project when I couldn't find my what's it called, scoring, what's it called, I can't remember what it's called. Stylus, that's the one. I couldn't find my stylus. It popped out of my scoring board. So yeah, on the take your pick tool you do get a double-ended stylus as well, so it's quite handy. Okay, like I say, fold one end in and line up this edge. You can choose how far up from the bottom, but I've left a little gap down there. Have this one straight out and just stick that down. Okay, it will fold then from one side to the other. If you do have a little bit of an overlap, just trim the outside here on the reverse. There we go. I always try to cut them, you know, really accurately, but you know, sometimes I'm slightly out. I'm just human. Okay, so you'll also now need some elegant, it's a silver elegant trim. So you get, in a pack, you get gold and you get silver on these. This is the gold that you get and the silver. So really useful for Christmas projects as well. And I would say take about 7.5 inches. You can see mine's gone through the class. And it's just to show you how I did these little loops here at the end underneath this. So it's optional. If you want these, you may or may not. But I'll show you how I got mine on there. So take a glue dot and pop it roughly in the center of this kind of section here. And then you want to take an end of your trim and put it into the glue dot and then loop, do a loop round. Don't come out too far because you've got to get this in an envelope and stick it back to the glue dot. Then you'll need to take another one to pop over the top because it's too bulky, this twine, this trim, to stick back to the original one. And then at this point it may fight you a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to loop this time round this way, and it doesn't matter how big that loop is, and stick back to there. And then your last one, you either want coming over the top, and that's kind of the way it's wanting to go. If you wanted it down the bottom here, you can either just manipulate it or snip it there. And because it wants to do its own thing, you're twisting it around and it doesn't really like it. So I'm going to put another glue dot on top there, and I'm going to force it into place down here. But if it doesn't play ball, like I say, just snip where you finish the last one and then loop that last one round. Okay, so that's how it is under there. And then with this, I stuck it in one go. If it's come apart, don't worry, but I'm going to show you here. You could stick it down with mini glue dots or glue, but I wanted to give it a little bit of dimension. And how I did that was I've cut on your mini dimensionals, or actually on the bigger ones, there are sections around the side that you can cut little strips here. And you just want tiny little kind of rectangles, little squares here to put on the back. Okay, so that they don't show. A little bit fiddly, this bit. So I'm going to pop one. I've taken the backing off. I've put it in the middle. And then you don't have to put one on each of the sort of outer points, but if you've got the patience to, you can. But just try and make sure they're not going to show you know, when you flip the snowflake over. But you could do like every other one if you wanted to. That one looks like it's not going to stick, so I'm going to cut another couple here. Or you could try just cutting a mini dimensional in half, or you know, whatever you've got there. You may find it easier to stick it on the end of a tool here and then just position it like that. I'm just going to put one more on. You could, like I say, put them on all of them, but just for the video, I'm just going to put one more on. It's so fiddly, but it does look quite good, so it's worth having the patience to do it. So I'm going to just put one more here for now. Okay, backings off of these, again, slightly fiddly. You may just think, no, that's too much trouble, Tracy. I'm just going to stick it down. Absolutely fine, no problem. And you probably will have a bit more time than me here. Okay, so then you're going to, ooh, I don't want to pull that middle one out. Stick this over your little twirls of a ribbon and stick down these pieces, the edge pieces, if you've got dimensionals on those. And then take your scissors or something, you might just be able to pull them up, and just pull up these. You can go from underneath almost and just hook that up. Just pull up these the middle snowflake here, and we fixed it in the middle so it's not going to come apart. But that just is really cute. It gives it a little bit of dimension. Okay, so we're going to stick this little sentiment on across here. And nearly dropped my charger then for my lights. And I'm just going to, again, use these edge pieces up just because I need to go hunting for another set of dimensionals. And as usual, my desk is a little bit messy after filming. So, okay, so if you're using normal ones, I would just put 3 across the middle or something like that of the regular size dimensionals. Okay, oops. So you're just going to pop that kind of offset on that side. And then just to finish this all off, we've got some really cute embellishments here. They're in the on the same page as the stamps and dies for this. They're called Adhesive Backed Sequins and Gems. Super pretty. So these ones you can make kind of little snowflake edges out of, so you could put them on some of these. But I'm just going to use these 2 for now. Like I said, I've got adhesive on the back. So I'm just going to stick them randomly on the project. So, oh gosh, I can't get that one up. So I'm going to stick one of the pink ones in the center of this snowflake here, one on here, and another one actually on here. And then the kind of bluey green ones, I'm going to put one in the center of this snowflake, and then one up in the center of one of these. How cute is that? Super sparkly. We're into Christmas. Yay! So this is my Joyful Flurry bridge fold card. I hope you've enjoyed making it. Take care. See you soon. Bye.